there's a connection between your posture and balance you might not be aware of. If your posture is off, your balance suffers. And if your balance is weak, your posture breaks down. So today I'll show you how posture and balance work together. And I'll give you simple balance exercises that you can either modify or level up based on where you're at. Let's do this. I'm Dr. Ryan Wolfert, and thank you for joining me today because let's see this connection between posture and balance. They definitely work together. When your posture is good, you're automatically more balanced because your center of gravity is where it should be. Your nervous system, your muscles, the joints, they're not fighting against each other. And they're all doing their jobs without the extra stress, strain, and drama. But now, when we flip that around and when you're slouching or your alignment is off, your center of gravity shifts, which I'll show you in a second. And now your body has to work harder. The muscles get tired faster, your joints get stressed, and it becomes more likely to lose your footing. It's like seeing a wobbly table and it's just trying to find that balance point. It just makes it harder to do. So here's what I'm talking about. So this is normal posture. We want it balanced, your spine and your trunk all balanced with gravity. But all too often, especially in the society and the world that we live in, your posture gets distorted, your spine gets deformed, and especially in this slouched, hunchback type posture. So this green line is the center of gravity. The farther these points are away from that center of gravity, the more your body has to work, the more your nervous system is stressed and strained, the more your muscles are overworked. But it works both ways too, because just like with good or bad posture affects your balance affects your posture. So if we can work on our balance, that can help your posture too. So that's what I'm going to show you today is some balance exercises that you can start on. I'll show you how to modify them if you need to, either make them easier or make them more challenging. So this is the starting position, the ideal starting position, where your eyes are open, arms down by your side, and then you want to lift the opposite knee. So obviously I'm standing on my right leg here. You're lifting your opposite knee so it's level with the hip. So it's like a 90-90 position with your knee and with your hip. That's ideal. Again, I'll show you modifications on how to, if it's too hard for you. Now, you're going to try to hold this position. This is the starting position. You're going to try to hold that the goal is 30 seconds on each leg. Now, there will be some activity in the ankle, in the support ankle. It's going to try to find that balance. You also, another good tip to use is to hold your stomach in. It's called the abdominal hollow or abdominal brace, which will decrease the amount of sway. And I'll link to a video showing you how to do that. So even before you get in this position, it's bringing your belly button to your spine, holding the core tight. And this is over when you start reaching to the side too much, or when you start losing your balance, when your hips start swaying too much and you're starting to lose your balance. It's okay to have activity in the ankle, in the knee, but we don't want a huge amount of sway with your body going all over the place. You stop counting or you stop the timer when that happens. So this is a nice stable position there with a little activity with your ankle trying to find that balance point. So that's the ideal starting position. If that's even too difficult to do that, have a wall or a chair like I have here, another stable object near you where you can. I don't want you to hold on to it the whole time because that kind of defeats the purpose of balance, but it's there where it's ready to rebalance you if you get off a balance, or if it's too hard to do that, where you're tapping it, you're touching it just for a second or two to get your balance. So you can use that. You can also just have the knee lower so you don't have to lift up your non-balanced leg, your non-stance leg up to that knee and hip level position. Just keep it down a little bit lower. You can have, I don't have a picture of it here, but you can have your hands off to the side just a little bit to balance yourself. But ideally, these are a couple of good modifications that usually work. But how do we make it more challenging? Because maybe your balance is good. Maybe, or as you start doing these exercises, your balance improves, your posture improves. Well, now to make it a little bit more challenging, again, it's the same starting position, but in that position, you're going to slowly rotate your head back and forth from side to side. So, you look to your right, look to your left. You can have, larger head movements to make it more difficult, or just little subtle movements to do that. And you want to hold that position. The goal is to be able to balance in doing 10 head rotations in each direction. Now, again, if you can do 2 or 3, great, start there. So the goal is to work up to 10 head rotations in each direction, back and forth. Okay, so that's one. Another one you can try is using a balance device. And by that, I mean you're going to be starting in the starting position with your foot on. See, I'm just standing on a pillow here. So household items like a pillow, a folded blanket, if you have, there's balance mats that they have, balance discs that they have, or, any other device that, you want to try to balance on. And the goal is 20 to 30 seconds on each leg. And then here's a really tough one, because our balance depends on 3 senses, if you will: our vision, our inner ear, it gives us equilibrium, and also what's called proprioception. It's like the GPS for our body. It's these little sensors in the joints that tell your body if it's balanced or not, that communicate with the brain. Now, this takes out one of those balance senses, which is actually the most, important, the most used is your vision. So when you lose your vision, now it's going to rely more on the inner ear, and especially the proprioception, those sensors in the joints, to communicate with the brain to tell you where you are in space. So this even works on your posture even more and tells you more information on how your posture and how your spinal function is and structure is. Because if you can't even hold this for a second, okay, there are dysfunctions in that communication. But it's first, how you do it is in the starting position. So what that means is eyes open. So in the picture here, my eyes are closed, but you want to keep your eyes open and get your balance. So getting in that starting position, and then you close your eyes and try to hold that position. Same thing applies to modify. If you need something by you, like a stable object, do that. If you don't lift your knee up as high, that's acceptable as well. And the same thing, the goal is 20 to 30 seconds on each leg. If you can do 30 seconds, that's amazing. But 20 seconds is also amazing. So these will help you to work on your balance, and also in turn work on your posture and give you information about your posture. And it's interesting with this one here with the eyes closed, how it relates to your posture as well, because as you start to lose your vision, or you want to make sure you're not losing your footing, what do many people do, especially as they get older? They start looking down at the ground to see where they're walking, because that helps with their balance. Then what happens there? Now that starts to alter the normal posture, starts to round the posture too much to get that slouch. So again, you see that connection there, that synergistic relationship between posture and balance. And if you want to, get more in depth on how your posture is affecting your life and how it's affecting your mobility and balance, I'll put a link in the description below. Schedule a posture and spinal mobility assessment with me, and we can actually pinpoint where you need to work. And then lastly, I have a special guide here. If you want to work more on your balance, more on your movement and activity, this goes into depth into that. Type move in the comments, and I will make sure you get my ideal exercise prescription for a healthy 100 years. Again, just type move in the description. I'll get that to you. And make sure, if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe, like this video, share it with a friend, family member who might be struggling with their balance. And as always, be your own guarantee for your health and your life. See you next time.